Today I will explain the important basics of being an effective ground attack pilot and heroes and generals. Pilots are very less used roles in the game as compared to other classes of soldiers, because of the initial learning difficulty, lack of knowledge and resource limitations faced by players. Becoming a pilot in the game is not difficult anymore. I remember when we used to grind our infantry guy to a certain rank to change his role into a pilot. Those were old days. Now players directly get a pilot without any credit cost with a starter Recon plane. So now when you have your first pilot player with Recon plane, or you are an experienced player with many planes. We all know that plane roles are divided into two categories. First one is air-to-air combat role. In this role your main priority targets are enemy aircrafts. The second role is ground attack role. In this role your purpose is to slow down incoming enemy forces into your objectives, or to destroy enemy defenses by eliminating enemy ground forces. Now there are some important points you must know and learn to be an effective ground attack pilot. The first thing is which type of aircraft is most effective. I will suggest go for medium fighters. If you don't have one then unlock one by playing with your Recon plane. And I will suggest to skip buying the cheapest medium fighter in all the three factions. Instead of that, buy the moderately priced one for ground attack purpose, and the most expensive one for air-to-air combat purpose. In my case I'm using P-40 Warhawk of the US faction for ground attack purpose, and Mustang for the air combat purpose, due to its high maneuverability. You can also use Recon and heavy fighter planes. The problem I see with these planes is that the Recon planes have very low powered caliber guns and slow speed, which makes them bad for ground attacks. The heavy fighters are great in firepower and speed, but they have very high maintenance cost and are too vulnerable while landing. A small bump while landing will destroy it. The second point is best controls. Personally I use mouse and keyboard for flying aircrafts and heroes and generals. Mouse and keyboard controls are easy to learn, and for ground attacking purpose they are good. But I will suggest you guys to play with the classic control option. It's hard to master, but once you have learned to fly with these controls you can easily win any dogfights, and will have a greater control of your aircraft than mouse and keyboard controls. To learn the classic controls, watch this JP's video on YouTube. He is an expert in classic control setup. Link to his video is in description. Learning classic control will take some time, but it's worth. Now you know the right aircraft and controls for your pilot. Let's move to the next point. The third point is the ammo type. I have seen many players using armor-piercing rounds in their planes to kill ground forces. No doubt you can kill infantries with it, but there is another type of ammo which can do more damage than AP rounds. That is high explosive rounds. These ammo are incendiary rounds made to blast on impact, which spreads lethal fragments in a small area of impact, damaging everyone in contact. So use HE rounds in your planes for ground attacking purpose. It will take time to grind the HE rounds, but it's worth the grind. Some of you might be thinking, what about destroying tanks on the ground? I will tell you about that later, just keep watching the video. The fourth point is enemy spawn location. This is the most important thing I can tell you to be a good ground attacking pilot. You have the right aircraft, ammo, and you know the controls. But you are unable to find enemies on the ground from up in the sky, then you are of no use to your team. I have seen players firing randomly on the ground or on the spotted enemy markers when there is no one. So knowing the enemy spawn location will greatly help you a lot. Know the nearest enemy spawn to your objective on the line they are attacking from. Now keep an eye on that spawn, and look for any moving objects like vehicles and infantry guys running. Now you know what to do, just train over your enemies with the HE rounds. Having the knowledge of enemy spawn and incoming enemies direction will help you a lot, and it will be reflected in the game scoreboard. Being a pilot is also about having good observation skills. The fifth point is best badges for your pilot. This is the point where things get interesting. Normally a pilot uses faster bombs resupply or flak jacket badge. But I will suggest to equip infantry fist badge. Unlock the gold tier level of it. To unlock it, you need to drive any in-game ground vehicles with your pilot player. I will suggest pick up a civilian truck and keep driving it. Use ribbon booster also. It took me around 5 hours to unlock the gold tier. Infantry fist gold badge will do 25% increased damage to infantry and recon vehicles. Let's imagine a very common situation that you are going to see in the game of seeing an enemy jeep or bike moving out just from their spawn point. Your HE rounds will deal damage to the players inside the vehicles, plus your infantry fist will help you destroy that vehicle completely in just few shots. With HE rounds and Iron Fist gold badge you are going to be extremely lethal. You will make a ton of credits in this way. Now I will tell you some tips for becoming a ground attack pilot. The first tip is dropping bombs early when you spawn your plebe. Try to drop the bombs early so that your resupply can start early. This gives you an advantage of getting resupply before you are out of HE rounds. By dropping bombs I mean that to drop on enemy, not on anywhere. In this way you will never be out of ammo in your plane. The second tip is use dive bombing. When you are coming in for bombing at angles more than 30 degrees, this is called dive bombing. I have seen players doing flyby bombing. Don't do that. Dive bombing is more accurate. The third tip is that don't fly too low while bombing. You could get damage from your own drop bombs. The fourth tip is that equip your pilot with a wrench. It is very useful to repair your aircraft after getting damage from enemy fires. The fifth tip is that pilot can also open parachutes like paratroopers while jumping from high buildings. This can save you in some tricky situations. The sixth tip is that you can destroy paraplanes with your plane. Go and destroy them to stop enemy paratroopers from spawning in it. And remember to distinguish between friendly paraplanes and enemies one before firing on them. The seventh tip is that destroy all the potential anti-air guns on the map before it is manned that you think can cause you any threat. Or you can communicate with your team to eliminate the enemy air gun operator. The eighth tip is that hold left shift button to have a free look around you. This is very helpful way of observing things around you. Now I will get back to the anti-tank loadout for a pilot. There are two ways to destroy a tank on ground with your plane. First one is to equip your plane with armor-piercing rounds with Iron Fist gold badge, which will increase the damage towards tanks by 25%. Or if you have veteran membership then equip Infantry Fist gold, plus Iron Fist gold badge for your main pilot player, with having both one medium fighter with HE rounds, and one with AP rounds. In this way you will be able to damage both type of targets easily. All you need to do is just to change your aircraft in spawn screen. That's why I say to buy 2 medium fighter on a single pilot. One for ground attacks, and other for air-to-air combat. Remember to equip the best, or the most expensive medium fighter, with AP rounds for tanks, and the moderately expensive one for ground attack. With armor-piercing one you can take on enemy fighters easily. This is the best way to be a ground attack pilot and heroes and generals. Keep playing with pilots and you will learn more ways of being the best pilot in the sky. That's all for today. Subscribe for more heroes and generals videos. Thanks for watching.